Okay, let's do a fun one today for Valentine's Day. I'm taking a mop brush with some bright blue and white and doing some up and down strokes in the middle of my canvas. I'm just repurposing a canvas today. This is a great one to use on old canvases or oops canvases where you paint over again and need to start over. So I have bright blue and white in the middle, and as I get towards the outside edges of my canvas, I'm going to start dipping into just bright blue, doing up and down strokes. Now, do you see those outer edges? I want those to be like a frame, so I'm going to take some black and do some up and down strokes all the way out to the edge. Now, you don't want to blend it into your blue too much, but you do want to blend that edge where the blue meets the black just a little bit. There we go. Okay, so you're going to have three sections then. The middle, that's blue, and it fades out to black. Now, in the very bottom, in the middle, I want to make it the brightest. So I'm going to use just a clean brush and brush in some white paint because we're going to add a silhouette later. More on that. But first, we're going to make some pour paint. I have some apple barrel pouring medium and a couple 2-ounce bottles that aren't new, but they are used. And there's a little bit of paint at the bottom that I want to use up. So this is a great painting to use up old paint. And I'm using a funnel and pouring in just a little bit of the pouring medium into each of those bottles. And then I'm going to put the lids on and shake them really, really good. Make sure those lids are on there tight. And when you do shake them, open them back up to check to make sure it's mixed in really good. You shouldn't see any more white medium in there, just the paint. So twist the caps back on. Now the background should be dry, so I'm going to give a place for my couple to stand. I'm going to just do a couple strokes of black paint at the bottom. And here's my silhouette. I'm just going to use a glue stick to attach it. And this is not my cutout, by the way. I found a Creative Commons website that had a whole bunch of these couples under umbrellas that were free to use. So you can go online, find those, and print one out to cut out. I used my Cricut because I do have a cutting machine, but you can use paper and scissors too. That works fine. And once it's on there, I'm going to take a piece of paper that fits right over top of the couple and tape the top of it because we don't want the rain to accidentally get onto our couple. Now, what I'm going to do, I have the painting propped up on my easel so it's slightly tilted, and I'm taking the paint bottles that I mixed with the pouring medium and very carefully starting to just squeeze and drip out a little bit of the color, and I'm alternating colors a little bit at a time. Oh, isn't that so satisfying to watch? There's some purple rain. I alternate colors. You definitely want to use white no matter what combination you use because that brightens it up a little bit. And you just keep going. Look how it drips. Now, you have to work pretty fast depending on how angled you have your painting because it will just keep dripping as you work. So I did all across the top, made sure that was completely covered, but I'm going to help it along and I'm just dripping in drips now, sometimes towards the middle to help the paint keep running. I want the paint to drip down in some areas almost all the way to the bottom. Now, once you get all the colors you want, you can take a detail brush quickly, and I like to do some just refining strokes. I go through the tops of my drips just to point them a little bit more. I think this looks a little bit more like rain. That is optional though. Some people like the big chunky drips. I even like to add some individual strokes in the middle, maybe sometimes adding some swirls at the top. And then once you get it the way you like, uncover the couple under the umbrella. I like to make the paint go a little bit closer to the umbrella then by adding a little bit in the middle. This is optional because you do want to be really careful that it doesn't drip over your silhouette. And then lay it flat. This is key. See, mine went a little bit too far, so I'm going to wipe off the paint that's at the ground. And you want to make sure it's dry. So this is the next day. I'm going to paint over top of that part that dripped. Now, I don't have to worry about it dripping anymore because it is completely dry. And what's optional then is you can add grass. I like to take my fan brush then and add some texture sometimes. Make sure you go over their feet. Notice how I glued them with their feet down into the black a little bit. You can add texture all over, or sometimes what I like to do is just do it at the top, and then I clean up the bottom by adding some extra black right at the very, very bottom. And there is a really cute couples Valentine drip art painting. I like to do this on bigger canvases too, where you have a little bit more room at the bottom. I can add stencils sometimes or words, and it can just be a lot of fun. So if you try it, let me know. Have fun.